Well, the question was asked about howling, challenge howls, and that sort of thing during the mating season. And I've got some actual challenge howls recorded from a live coyote, and some other, I've also got a pup distress. There's been some talk on the forum about pup distress, and guys talking about 8-month-old pups and 10-month-old pups, which really aren't, really at that point they're not a pup anymore. But this first sound is a challenge howl. I mean, this is a coyote howling at one of my dogs. And you can see the spacing there. I mean, it's not just a constant. But I mean, every coyote I've ever heard challenge call, I mean, they're all a little bit different. That particular coyote was in a hole. He was a younger coyote. And every time Bear would stick his head in the hole, that's what he'd do back. So I just grabbed a camera, put it on the voice recorder, and recorded it, and then had it converted over to FXP file and loaded it up on the Fox Pro. And it's not terribly loud, but I have called in coyotes with it. I used it a little bit last year, not much. I seem to have just as good effect just using an open reed howler. I'll blow on a howl or on a call here. This is a song dog. It's like trying to show somebody how to play a harmonica, though. I mean, everything's inside your mouth. There isn't, I don't know how I would really show that, but you can kind of hear what it sounds like. And with the recording equipment I'm using, which is basically just a Samsung camera, it's probably going to be, it's not going to sound exactly like it would in person, because it's going to probably go right off the register here, but I'll blow it a little bit. That's about all there is to it. I'm just putting a lot of the reed in my mouth, lots of pressure. The barks, you got to be a little careful about the barks. I mean, you don't want them to sound like woofs. You want a sharper bark sound. The other sound here that's pretty interesting to listen to is a coyote pup. And you can see that isn't exactly what, if you were to ask most guys what a coyote pup distress sounds like, this is what they're going to do. They're going to go. see that the two are quite a bit different from one another. The coyote is, or pup coyote, real high pitched. I mean, either sound's going to work. The one on the Fox Pro there, that's a recorded pup I had last spring and summer. And the only thing I did right there is I put a collar and a leash on him. He's just got a collar on him. He's just not very happy about it. He's not getting tortured or anything like that. He's just not used to having a collar on him. My daughter was walking around, wrap him up in a blanket and carry him all over the place, and she wanted to put a leash on him, and I figured we'd try that. And he acted like he was dying. I got a bunch of other sounds from him, but none of them really sound like a coyote. There's a lot of more of a chirp sound, by biting into your reed. So if I'm out in the field and I'm blowing on an open reed, my pup distress sounds more like that. I just use my teeth at the tip of the reed, and I'm just popping that thing. And the best thing you can do is just listen to that sound, and just, once you get to know your call, you're just gonna, if I can hear a sound, I can mimic it pretty fast on the reed just because I know where to put my mouth to get that pitch or to get that cadence. Some of the other sounds that are out there, I've got another one here I've been using quite a bit. I use it a lot this fall. Just about every coyote I called in this fall is with this. That's a red fox pup. He wasn't too happy when I was pulling him out of the hole. And I really can't mimic that. I'm not going to try to mimic it. I've got it recorded, so there's no sense to that. But I can turn that Fox Pro on with that thing, and if there's coyotes nearby, they respond to that pretty readily, especially in the fall. And I've used a taped recording of that's pretty similar to that, a Johnny Stewart sound. I used to, years ago, I used that a ton in the wintertime. A ton. And then when I recorded this one, it's just a little bit different, but I don't know, if that sounds any better than any other red fox pup sound, though I can guarantee you that's the real deal. Some of that stuff I don't know, but he was definitely in distress when he was coming out of that hole. That's about as blood curdling as you're going to get out of those red fox pups. And I've called in a pile of coyotes using that sound, and that's about it. As far as my howls, my locator, nothing too fancy. Don't get crazy on the barks. Just howl. Let it out there. You can do 2 of them. Let it sit for 2-3 minutes. If there's coyotes close by, sometimes they howl back at you. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just come in. Depends on the time of year. Use that a lot year round. I never worry about scaring coyotes off with it. I don't. I start out as loud as I can go right off the bat with that. I don't start out soft or anything like that. So, for this time of year, for challenges and stuff like that, that's pretty much the stuff that I'm doing. You can never go wrong by just mimicking the coyote. Whatever sound, if he's challenged you, you can certainly just mimic him and challenge back at it. Sometimes if you're doing that, though, if he sounds a big, gruff, badass coyote, it's probably not a good idea to sound just as big as he is. Sometimes it helps just to do a little coyote or get down on the reed a little bit, a little higher pitch, and don't sound so sure of yourself. They're a lot quicker to come in if they think they're going to win. Proximity is a big deal. If he's out there and you can watch him, he's doing kickbacks and spinning around in circles, it just isn't coming in closer. I can almost guarantee you if you get into his comfort zone, he's going to run you over. Sometimes he's just letting you know that there's a line in the sand and he doesn't want you to cross it. So about it. Got any other questions, I can follow up.